And a very good afternoon to you. Welcome to Business. Now, the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, plans to introduce quarterly assessment and appraisal of targets to ensure it is able to identify whether it is meeting end-of-year targets and at what rate. The GRA boss, Emmanuel Kofinti, announced this in an interview with Joy Business after a press soiree organized by the authority. The GRA board says this measure will serve as a motivator to staff to help individual departments rigorously pursue overall objectives and to ensure that targets are always met.
We'll be looking at quarterly targets and meeting the quarterly targets. So that it's not that we wait till the end of the year and then you marshal our forces and go out on the stream, but it's going to be a norm in our behavior that you do quarterly targets for a start. And if at the first quarter we do a evaluation, reappraisal, and review the situation, and we see it is the way to go, we may go in the second quarter. By the third quarter, we may be starting to even be breaking down to a monthly quarter, a monthly outings to be the targeting. So our focus must be to meet the targets, and for staff to know that their activities are being monitored. And once staff know that they are being watched, their performances are being watched, and then within our system, we'll be doing usual ranking of performances. Every office will do a ranking, and we'll be able to say that this office in the first quarter was able to beat its target by maybe 4.3%, followed by this office which did 3.7%, and down to the one who did worse. So that there will be internal generation of competition to meet the targets, and those things will motivate our staff to go out there and achieve. And so those are some of the measures we want to roll out to achieve what we need to achieve to move the nation forward.
And away from that, the country's total debt stock ending November 2017 reached 139 billion Ghana cedis. That's according to the latest Bank of Ghana economic and financial data for last year. But is this indication that government is still struggling to contain the public debt? And what is the central bank's verdict on how other sectors of the economy fared? That's more in the following Business Desk report.
The Bank of Ghana's data show that from October to November 2017, the total debt stock went up by almost 1.2 billion cedis. This means in 1 month, the debt had gone up by that amount. This was not necessarily as a result of fresh borrowings, but as government sources have attributed it to the cedi's marginal depreciation around the time and clearance of some old bonds that were maturing. However, for some, the trend is still worrying, as over the past months, there has not been any significant reduction in the debt numbers, even though a sharp rate of increase had slowed. The data show the 139 billion cedi debt stock puts the debt to GDP ratio at 68%, still closer to the dreaded 70% mark, which analysts say raises a lot of issues about a country's ability to pay its debt on time. The external debt accounted for 75 billion cedis, while domestic debt was 64 billion cedis. Meanwhile, commercial banks are still struggling to deal with loans that they fear may go bad, as the Bank of Ghana data puts the non-performing loans ending December 2017 at 22.7%, a significant increase from what was recorded in 2016.
And just before we go, the Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana has maintained the policy rate after meeting last week to review the health of the economy. The committee kept the rate at which it lends to commercial banks at 20%. Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, announced this a while ago, and he says the move was influenced by fears inflation could be going up due to current developments on the global markets. We'll speak to an economist on the implications of this particular development on the economy shortly on the marketplace. That's it for business. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji. Have a good afternoon.